I'll tell you guys how the fight went down. You're going to like this. Yeah. Look, you guys have a lifetime of experience over me in sports, but I don't know if you've heard a story like this. Check this out.
Yeah.
So I didn't know I was going to fight until 2 hours before the fight was off.
Crazy.
2 hours before. Fight was off. So how that went down was this. So they tested me. So I tested positive for COVID before the camp started. Remember that? I think I told you that.
I don't remember, Arjan, but Levente, I guess you heard it on ESPN or something, Levente?
Yeah, I was so mad that ESPN Ariel got to you first, so I was just watching it right now. And then you were sharing all these dynamite stories, and I was like, oh man, so I was just catching them up. But yeah,
okay, so you're familiar with it, but
me. You please share it because I
don't know.
Yeah. So I tested positive before. And then, and basically I talked to the company and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm positive. I don't want this to be an issue where I can't fly out or nothing like that. And they're like, okay, get a letter from BC, from the provincial government, BC Health or whatever. And so I got that letter and what it said was, okay, this guy's tested positive. He's got antibodies. Here's the proof of it, but he's no longer infectious. So it might be in his system, but it's from before and he's no longer infectious and da-da-da-da. So we were armed with that, and we went over. So I cleared the test before we took off. Upon arrival, we test again, and so we're in a bubble out there. So we're not allowed out of our hotel room. So they got me in a suite. They got the coaches next door. Everyone has their own rooms, and you're not allowed to leave the room unless it's to the coach's room or the coaches come to my room, and you have to be escorted even for that. And and the only reason you leave outside of that for your room is to go for a workout downstairs, which you have to be escorted for. No one could be there when you go there, and you have to sign out a time and all that. Aside from that, in my hotel room the entire trip, all my meals, everything. So anyway, so upon arrival, we get another test, and we're good to go. We get cleared, and then we get another one after that, a couple days in, and then we go to our face-offs and weigh-ins and this and that. And next thing you know, right after face-off, I come back and we get a phone call. They're like, okay, where's Arjan? Okay, you guys need to leave him alone, and he has to be in his room alone, and you're not allowed to go see him. Fight is off. He's tested positive.
Wow.
So they dropped this right before the fight. We've done face-offs and everything.
Wow.
And not only me, a couple other guys as well. I wasn't the only one. And so I'm just shook completely. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we put in all this work and lifetime of work and deal with a year pandemic. We're booked multiple times and we're here and now this happens. And then how can it happen? Because the coaches are good. And they've been with me the whole time and we even shared food and everything and they're good to go. It doesn't make sense. So I'm on the horn with my management, with these guys. I'm like, look, I have this letter. How is this even possible? It's supposed to clear me. And they're like, look, you're positive. They've tested your backup sample. Even that's positive. And usually this is it. We can't do anything else. We're begging them, test that one more time. Give us one more chance. He's our main event, Indian event, all that type of stuff. They're headquartered in Singapore, so they got pulled too, right? But they're like, this is out of our hands. It's all government protocol. So I'm going to them. I'm like, why the hell do I have this letter then? Like, they're like, oh, that was to get into the country. I'm like, why the hell would I want to get in the country if I can't fight? I wouldn't want to leave me at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're sorry, and it's government, and this and that. I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, if you retest the same sample a third time, you're going to get the same result. You're not going to get a different result. That doesn't make sense to me. Right? I'm like, retest me. Get it. They're like, they don't generally do that. And just we're working with them. But as of right now, it's off. We're so sorry. We're going to do the best we can, and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm sitting alone in my room now. Coaches can't be with me. I can't even call my family. I don't want to get them panicked or nothing. What the hell do we do? And that's it. So I'm dealing with all that, and I've got a giant, then you go worst case scenarios, all this stuff that was on the back end that we were planning and where life's going to go. All that's out the window. Then I'm okay, listen, I self-talk, right? I'm like, listen, they said they're working on it. I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason. I am a huge believer in that, and life plays out the way it's supposed to, and you roll with it. And I believe this was my destiny. I believe I was meant to be the first guy. My story resonates with everyone. I've got a body of work, a lifetime of work that people can connect with and that's earned this shot. I had so many tests along the way you know, I don't even want to get into that. That got me to that point. I was like, just trust this. This is just another speed bump. It will happen. Main event on an Indian card first. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way that this can't happen. It's the universe will figure it out. There will be a way. There has to be a way. Doesn't make sense. No one else is going to main event me. How else are they going to get someone else to do this? I'm the guy. There's no one else on this planet otherwise. Yeah. And so I started talking about that and thinking about that. I'm like, okay, I just have to, in my mind, I think that I'm gonna try to move forward with that. So midnight, they come to my room and they're like, okay, we convince them to take another sample. They don't do that. They didn't do that for the other guys, and the other guys didn't even end up fighting, but they ended up agreeing for me. And so they came to my room and they took the sample, and I went to sleep not knowing what the hell's gonna happen when I wake up. Fights off and when I wake up.
Did you get to sleep though?
I prayed, Manny. What else can you do, man? I prayed, and it
You're
really
amazing.
It tests your belief.
Oh,
it really tests your belief in things. And I again, in my preparation for the fight, I had some challenges, and I always leaned on that belief. And I was like, it's easy to lean on belief when things are easy. And if I'm a true believer, this is the test. And I'm just gonna let it go, and I'm gonna lean on that, and we'll see what life has to show me. Yeah. And that's how I went to sleep. And that was it, man. I said a prayer, and I said, it's out of my hands. If I believe, you know, this is my destiny. I've done everything right in my life. I'm a good person. Don't fuck me. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I went to sleep. And when I got up, we still didn't know. First thing, when you wake up and you sort of, maybe you have to take a piss or you go back to sleep or something. I kind of woke up and I was up like this as soon as my eyes opened. Yeah. And I'm like, let me check my phone. Did they get back to me? Nothing yet. And then, and essentially what they go, it takes 12 hours and da-da-da-da-da. So I have this whole routine I do fight day. We all do, right? And I'm trying to stay on top of that as much as I can, although I'm confined to a room and by myself. And family's hitting me up. We can't wait to watch. Good luck, all that. I'm like, sounds good. I told my wife, I go, hey, listen, this is what it is. Don't panic. We've leaned on belief. This is another test. How much do we actually believe? You know, this is the test. And she's like, okay, all good. And she was good about it. She told me after she was freaking out after she hung up. But anyways. So the next day, so fight day, same thing. So I tell him, I go, listen, I need to know. Like, if you guys, when I told him, I come in, I go, look, I would rather have not known if you guys were going to still work on it and been on my game. And then you guys just tell me right before, hey, it's not going to happen. Rather than it's not going to happen, but we're working on it. Because you're dangling something that I don't know that's there or not. Like, but whatever. So then I go, look, I need to know. Like, I have a routine, and I gotta be on. They go, look, we are willing to wait all night, 10, 11 p.m. if we have to get this answer. Even if all the rest of the fights are done, we'll keep a production team in house. We'll keep our setup there, everything, until we find out, because we want you guys to fight. And that's how it happened. That's exactly what happened. And they go, well, as soon as we find out, we're going to tell you, and you have 2 hours till you fight. We're going to give you a 2 hour heads up to warm up and everything, get to the arena, have your bags packed in case. And that's what we did. And so they called me. So the fight was supposed to be 11:30 our time in Vancouver. So the family was up and everything, and they watched. I didn't fight till 4:30, 5:30, or 5 in the morning, something like that. And they didn't know why the delay was even happening. I didn't tell them. And then they started freaking. They're like, is he hurt? Did he lose? We haven't heard from him. And my phone's already blown up. I haven't even fought. So the fight happens, and it was the most surreal experience, man. There's no other coaches in the back, no other fighters, dead quiet. Everyone stayed there. The lights were off until we walked in. They got the stadium lit up again, and it was the whole team stayed in house just for us. I'll never forget it, man. Warmed up, walked out, and just did the business, because it doesn't matter what happens in life. Outside of that cage, the world can freeze over. But when I walk in there, it's me and that guy, and I know that. And it doesn't matter. No one can fuck with that. And that's all I wanted, was to get in there. And the rest, I was going to take care of business.
Jerry Trimble.
Yeah, Jerry Trimble. He's a bad motherfucker.
Golden Boy. That's what they call Atlanta's Jerry Trimble.
He hails from Vancouver, British Columbia. Manny, the school